Years ago, before the building of Busch Stadium number 3, we did a program about baseball in St. Louis. The move towards these more classic brick ballparks was just underway. At the time, Busch Stadium number 2 was undergoing a major renovation, and that included tearing out the AstroTurf in favor of the more traditional grass field. So back then, we asked people, including the late legendary sports writer Bob Rigg, for their own baseball memories. Yes, it was a nostalgic look back at the good old days. And for a lot of folks, the good old days meant Busch Stadium number 1, the old Sportsman's Park on North Grand. Maybe baseball wasn't really better back then, but it was different and closer to its roots and to its fans.
It began as a ball field, and Sportsman's Park seemed to be built around the game itself. Built to serve the people who used to stand in the outfield or near the sidelines. And it was a long time that feeling survived. Into the 1930s, the stadium announcer was still on the field shouting out the lineup.
He would stand behind home plate with a double-handed megaphone. The megaphone was very large, double-handed, and with a booming voice, he would read the batting order to the press radio level, which meant that people close to home plate got that. But then he would waddle, and I mean waddle because he was heavy, down to third base and just get the battery. When he made a batting change, by the time he got through with the change, the inning was over.
Before the electric organ or blasting rock songs, if you heard any music, it was likely to be coming from a high school band sitting in the stands. The old-time stadium still had things in common with the school athletic field or the playground. Players would trot in off the field empty-handed, leaving their mitts out on the diamond near their position. Watch the shortstop after he makes the inning-ending play. You'd think it wouldn't be safe, but nobody remembers anybody ever getting hurt or losing a game because of a mitt on the field. And if you've ever wondered why some of the old action photos look so good from those days, it's because photographers were on the field, gathered near home for the batter, or near first or third if they were expecting a play there. You didn't need a telephoto lens, not even to get a picture, when Browns owner Bill Veeck sent Eddie Goodell up to bat.
If Bill Veeck hadn't tipped me off the night before when we were drinking, we would never had a picture, because the photographer would have been long gone. I mean, not only he was there, but he was able to get out on the field, and he kneeled on what you and I would call the on-deck circle, to be that close.
All of this, plus the physical closeness of the fan to the game, made a huge difference in the ballpark experience, a difference that was easier to feel than to explain. Adding public address systems and making rules, removing gloves and photographers made sense, but they removed some of the informality of baseball. That's the thing everybody remembers about Sportsman's Park, how close you were to the players, how much you were a part of the game.
You were still close enough to the field and involved in the action that you could see the expressions on people's faces. You could hear some of the language, which wasn't always the best. And you were into the game. You had a closer feeling. You weren't in this mega complex.
There was a time when kids knew what it was like to share the field with their heroes.
Yeah, the kids would run around on the field. They didn't stop the kids at that time after the games were over.
Yeah, you could do it then, but now you can't. You get on the field, you get arrested. They don't want you on the field.
Television may have been one of the big things that made regular guys into modern celebrities. The camera brought their images and their accomplishments into homes around the country, but it left a lot of their humanity back on the field. And you've got to see them, hear them, maybe even exchange a word with them to really see that they are regular guys, and maybe to remind them of that as well.
Because see, the other ball players, you could almost touch them if you got down there close to the field, where now you're too far away from the ball players, but that's progress, so you just have to look at it that way,
For Living St. Louis, I'm Jim Kircher.